reminds me of the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, man. That's awesome, man. That's why I listen to a lot of that also. Yeah. Do you like really listen to him?
No lah, just sometimes I just watch the highlights and then listen and see what he's actually saying.
The highlights like on YouTube lah.
Yes, most of the time talk a lot of crap one.
It depends. Yeah, basically, it's basically just shooting the shit, talking crap, and whatever, man. Because that's basically what his podcast style is like, lah. Just whatever. There's no agenda. No, you just come in and talk whatever you want.
Am I the first guest that is here in the studio for you, or
you are going to be the first? You are the first guest in the studio here.
I am honored. I never expected. I thought they were because most of the previous ones were online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I did record another one, but I've only put out one so far because the amount of work to edit the.
Yes, it's a lot of work.
Boy, it's a lot of work, man. So it didn't really have time lah. But thanks for doing this, man.
Hey, no worries. I am happy to be here and happy to finally meet you in person.
In person, in the flesh as well,
Yes.
Reening Lau, all the way from Kuching, Sarawak.
Indeed.
Yeah. So we've always been only seen each other online to Zoom or Google Meet.
Yeah.
On the AES monthly meetings.
Correct.
So it's like, okay, finally get to meet the person in the flesh. Yeah. I mean, by the time this comes out, it's probably you already gone back already. But what are you going to be doing here in KL? What brings you all the way across? Braving COVID and braving whatever travel restrictions and
it's mostly just me being sick of not being able to perform live in Kuching. In Kuching, we have a lot of uncertainty regarding the whole live performance rules and regulations for that. So I'm still waiting for SCMC to issue out an official statement. But I've through the social media, I've seen all the other singer-songwriters, all the other my friends and other performers. They're making a lot of traction, headlining shows here in KL, maybe in Penang as well. And I thought, okay, look, I don't want to stay so cooped up at home, just waiting for something to happen. So I decided, let's try and make something happen on my own. So decided to just try my best to get a few shows signed. I managed to sign, not sign, I didn't sign anything. I mean, I was given the opportunity by, I think Merdekaria. They were having this singer-songwriter sessions at Publica. So I will be busking there tomorrow, 6 p.m.
Yeah. So the day of this recording, obviously when this comes out, it's going to be after that already.
Yes.
So, yeah. And besides that, you're also traveling to Penang this weekend?
Yes. Penang will be on Friday. So I'll go there just to get used to the whole island once again and be I don't know if I told you this, but the first time I touched down to KL and then I just saw all the familiar structures because I haven't been here for about 3 years. So it's a bit of a culture shock. So and then when I was here previously, all the MRTs and such they weren't ready yet. So I come here, I walked in, I'm just awestruck. Look at that concrete behemoth there. It just blocks out everything in the sky. But it makes everything so much easier to travel back and forth. And yeah, I'm happy to be back here lah.
And we are definitely happy to have you here. Yeah,
Yes.
lucky to have you here. You've obviously you've put out your debut album.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the month of August, it's been 4 months now, December. So that's one of my I think that's the biggest achievement for me this year. So big thanks to Chandana again for giving out the opportunity, the grant there under the Independent Music Funding Program.
Okay.
I have to shout them out as well.
Shout out Chandana. Okay, all right. Yeah.
Right. So shout out to Chandana on
Even
that.
though this is not really it's not funded by them.
but yeah, because of that, we managed to get that album out So if anybody's interested in listening, you can find it, find out more information on Spotify and all that stuff.
Yeah, cool. So
Yeah.
besides Spotify, before that you had physical copies, right?
Yes.
Have you you told me that the first batch, the first pressing was already sold out.
Yes.
Are you gonna make extra copies or not?
Yes, definitely. Actually, we've finished the third batch already. So I do it in stages. This first batch,
Okay.
and then the second batch, all in hundreds. So the first 200 CDs have been sold out. Very happy for that. And now 300 CDs have already been printed in total. So yeah, I'm hoping to be able to sell some. I brought maybe about 15 or 10 because I can't fit everything into my bag. So hopefully during the gigs in Publica and Penang, I can share my physical copies with people.
Yeah. You brought them with you or not? You have it
Yes,
with you?
I actually have it. It's in my bag here. Hold on, give me a sec.
Because what I want to, let me get one or two copies off of you, man.
Copies. Sure, can. So
Yeah. CDs hot off the production line.
off the shelves.
There you go. The real deal itself, man. Reening Lau, was it
enough?
Okay.
So
very,
yeah.
very cool.
Thank
Very
you
cool.
for wanting 2 CDs here. So
Yeah, man. What I'll do later on is also I'll do on my video. I'll do a little giveaway, so viewers and subscribers can.
yes, that's a great idea. That's a great
So I'll
idea.
give away one of these CDs. Yeah. So very, very cool. And then, I just I'm still the old fashioned lah. I still love to have an actual physical CD that I can hold with an album liner that I can open up and look at the credits.
Yes, it's that tangible feeling there.
Yeah, no. Oh, and it's always the challenge of opening the CD sleeve.
Yeah, just to not rip it out. But after you done, yeah, there you go.
This type is easier. This type, if the one that shrink wrap one, that one
that one's a headache.
You have to find a knife or a key or something sharp and try and poke it out. Yeah. Was it enough?
Yep.
And speaking of credits, there's a mutual friend of ours, which is unfortunately not here with us today.
Yes, that's a bit too sad lah. It would be great if he could be here.
Yeah,
but he was a very important person on the album here. Without him, I think the direction of the album wouldn't have been as it should have been here lah, as good as it could have been.
Yeah.
So, and that person in question is Mr. Hairul Hasnan.
Mr. Hairul.
The producer for this album. So, big props to him. Big shout out to him as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he produced, mixed, and mastered. Shout out to you, Hairul. Okay, this is dedicated to you. I will speak to you, and you'll be on this podcast sometime in the future, because I want to talk to him also a lot of things as well. Yeah. So what was your experience like, recording the album, working with Hairul? How did you all get together in the first place?
Initially, we were a bit unsure of how things would play out because of the whole SOPs and travel restrictions and such. But Hairul, I think he needed to come back to Kuching, Sarawak, just to sort out a few things with his family, and also because some of the things he shipped back from UK were also in need of sorting out. So he came back during the month of early February 2021, this year.
21?
Yes.
2021, this year.
Yes, 2021,
okay.
This year. So from there, but we had a long discussion on the whole process and people who would be playing on the album. So once he came back, it was just full steam ahead, and we just started recording, and we started trying to figure out ideas on how to make the songs work as they should. The main issue was that I had this vision of wanting to bring all the other musicians back. Sorry, not back. I wanted to bring all of them together to one space so that we could
Yeah.
record in a live sort of setting to get that vibe, to get that energy going
Yep.
on. But obviously it wasn't possible lah.
Yep. Yep.
So we decided to do it in the next best way, which is to get the vocals, drums, bass, guitar recorded together
Mm-hmm.
as a live sort of band setting, and then everything else, the other musicians would then send in their parts accordingly lah.
Right. Yeah.
So, and that's how we sorted everything out. Eventually, it took a long while.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely, man. I mean, salute you, big hats up to you, because especially during COVID,
Mhm,
during MCO and all that, it's a big accomplishment to able to do this and for a full album.
Yes,
You know,
thank you.
during a lot of musicians, either they just kind of just sat back and didn't do anything. But I guess when crisis comes, sometimes you can either turn it into an opportunity,
Mhm.
and just forge on ahead and just take the challenge head on, and then overcome everything and just come up with this. So this is awesome, man. This is great.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. And definitely, everyone, do check out the album, okay? Wasn't Enough by Reening Lau. Okay. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But hopefully I can get to know you a little bit more, because previously, like I mentioned, we only chat on Zoom and Google Meet.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of questions that I sort of kind of prepared out.
Okay.
Let's kind of go down to it. So that people listening to this or watching this can get to know a little bit more about who Reening Lau is, right? Besides more, I mean, let's start from the beginning, lah. Like, where did you grow up? What was your education like? Where was your first foray into music, so to speak?
All right. So, my journey into music here is a little bit unorthodox, I would say. But I think it's a similar thing to how if you were brought up in an Asian household. So I grew up in Kuching, Sarawak. So relatively normal boy lah. Had to attend classes there, have to do well in exams. But the thing is, if you have parents who are very highly educated and also highly a lot of high achievements as well lah,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of pressure to follow up along their line of work. Because my father is a professor in chemistry. My mother is another professor in microbiology.
Oh,
So me as the oldest son in the family, people were explaining, okay, you are going to be the next
you're gonna be the next doctor, lah.
yeah, probably you will do, instead of chemistry, you will become engineering or probably mathematics or something like that. But I somehow, I think the genetic kind of missed me in terms of the whole science related academics part.
Oh no.
And I was a little bit more interested on the art side of things. But I'm going to skip all the other boring parts of my high school days, sekolah menengah and everything, and just go straight to university. But university, I was studying architecture. Finished my bachelor's degree in Taylor's University and worked here in KL at a healthcare planning design firm for about close to 2 years like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, I moved on to do a master's in architecture in UK. So I think the UK, going to the UK was a turning point in my decision of pursuing music, because I realized that architecture wasn't something that I truly enjoyed. It was a safe compromise for me. But there was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of, what's this word? Tidak puas hati. I wasn't satisfied in a sense.
Yeah.
And I was struggling to come to terms whether, like, would I want to do this for the rest of my life?
Yep. Yeah.
So I think halfway through, I decided to change my master's into a master's in music production. bit of drama there as well because obviously,
Can imagine,
yeah,
you know,
obviously,
to break the news to to the family,
yeah, that was hard.
who I assume were they paying for education?
Yeah, Pharma Mother Scholarship. That's why.
Pharma scholarship,
Pharma.
yeah. Because if you were like, okay, I'm paying for my own, okay lah, yeah. But then, yeah, man, I can't imagine the kind of pressure it must have been.
Yeah, that's why I think I didn't talk to my parents for about 3 months when that happened. So I just
man.
went about this is something that you should not do, guys. I will tell you. But I kind of just bombed my architecture lessons and classes and everything, and I decided to just go straight to performing at all different events in
Yeah.
UK,
Mhm.
doing some recordings here and there.
Mhm.
And I think it was through that my parents finally understood that actually I could actually make something out of this. Because I was okay, not to toot my own horn or anything lah, but I thought I was pretty good at this. And people were actually enjoying my songs, my performances. And yeah, for some reason, while I was studying architecture in Taylor's, we had to do a lot of video,
Mhm.
a lot of audio editing. I don't understand why, but I think it's because the lecturers were thinking, we are so bored of reading reports and trying to like grade everything through hand. So why don't we get the students to make everything audio visual? So it was from there that I developed the whole interest of audio production and video editing and all that stuff. So I decided to bring what I had to learn from architecture in that particular field
Mhm.
and apply it to my music production course in York. And fast forward to now,
Yeah.
I am back in Malaysia and I have an album out.
which is this one.
Which
Was
is
it
one
enough?
right
Yeah.
here. And
So
yeah,
that-
I'm pretty. It's still a bit uncertain now. Still struggling, but the fact is, this one quote from Jim Carrey. He mentioned this during one of that graduation or inauguration ceremony. I could be wrong, but I remember it very clearly. He said this: "You can still fail at doing what you don't love. So why not try and fail doing something that you love?"
Mhm.
So might as well take the chance. Who knows? You might actually make it big. So I didn't want to have any what ifs,
regrets,
regrets.
Yeah.
And I I I had this belief that I was good at what I did. I could play, I could sing.
Mm.
Probably not at the level of the superstars yet lah. It's getting there, But
Hey,
you have to have some confidence. Sometimes you have to believe in yourself. But yeah, I didn't want to lie to myself any longer. So here I am doing music and also part-time recording services as well lah.
That's your path, man. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so when you went over to UK, because you went to where were you? Which city were you in?
I was in Portsmouth at first.
Portsmouth first.
Then I moved to York for the Masters in Music Production program.
Right. Yeah. Because Hyrule also went to York one.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So this is where everything has converged together lah, basically. I think if I didn't go to York to study music production, this album wouldn't have come out.
Yeah. Did you meet Hyrule at York?
Yes,
Yeah.
I met him there. He was actually giving a lecture there on compressors, because that was his PhD thesis. So I noticed this guy's accent. It's like familiar. It's very Malaysian. So I decided to just after the lecture just ask him, "Hey, are you Malaysian?" "Yes." Kau tu orang Sarawak kah? Ya betul. So it's basically we started talking in Bahasa Sarawak, and then there was a connection there.
There was it like
Yeah. So great time.
Yeah. That's always this awesome feeling whenever you go overseas and then you finally start you bump into another Malaysian, then
Yes.
then you start talking like in your own language and lingo, man.
Yeah. I don't need to put on the facade of the Ang Mo accent anymore. Just go back to how it was originally.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. And then and the journey lah, right? This is like 2 years at Taylor's, right? And then how many years
Oh,
in total?
Taylor's was about, if I had to say, it's about 4 years.
Oh,
4 years
yeah.
in Taylor's and 2 years working.
2 years working here, then only UK.
Yes.
Yeah. Then UK was how long?
UK was about 3 years and stuff like
3
that.
years lah, right?
Yeah. So 2 years, no, 2.5 lah, I'd say UK.
Yeah.
So 2 years of that master's in architecture, and then finally switched to music production.
That took another
That was about 1 year.
about a year lah. Yeah. And coming back here you came back here in
I came back in 2019-ish.
2019.
2019. It's late 2019, September.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just building my whole connections, the whole identity as a singer, songwriter, performer.
Yep.
And when things were just about to take off,
yep. Boom. Everything
big
just
Mr. COVID came and said, not today.
Mr. Ko. Mr. COVID.
COVID.
Oh, boy. Yeah, it just literally like I just put a like emergency brake on everything, man. Yeah. Very cool. So, okay, a couple of questions. Maybe just, a little bit of trivia stuff,
sure.
like what's your favorite piece of equipment? It can be audio, could be music instrument.
If we're talking about an audio, since I've already tried out the Kemper the Kemper amp model in UK, which was in the Trevor Jones studio at the University of York. That is my favorite piece of gear, because I'm a guitarist, so I'm a bit spoiled when it comes to being able to have all access to different types of sounds at high quality and making it sound as real as possible. So the Kemper was is my favorite equipment lah, in terms of audio gear.
Yeah, but do you use the Kemper?
No lah, I don't have enough money. I use a watered down version of it, which is called the Line 6 Pod Go. So it's not as robust. You don't have the exact amp models and IR effects, but it sounds good. So if you want to hear it sounds, it's on the album. So
yeah, pushing the album.
Shameless self plug, right? Okay. But yes, that is the
that would be your favorite piece of gear lah, right? What DAW are you using?
Right now it's a mixture. Because I started off with Adobe Audition, because everybody was like, oh, Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, oh, they have for audio. Okay lah, just go on. But I didn't really enjoy the whole interface of that. So I decided to try out other DAWs like Reaper, Logic, Studio One, Pro Tools, all the stuff. I finally came down to just two that worked well for me. So on PC, if I have to use PC, I'll stick with Reaper. On Mac, obviously the Logic lah.
Logic is a no-brainer lah. Yeah. That's no-brainer, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you have like in your at home currently? What's your rig? You mentioned guitar using the Line 6 Pod Go, but your own studio setup?
Because I'm still building it up slowly. Right now, it's just the basic. I have a MacBook Pro there, and then hooked up to Roland Octacapture. That is my audio interface. The one that I use, I got it off from Hyrule as well. So many thanks for Hyrule for selling that to me. 8 inputs, good enough for me. In case I need to record drums, I usually record drums in a 5 mic setup. And then hooked up to Yamaha HS5s.
Yep.
So got them for a bargain in UK. just brought them over.
Yeah.
And depending on the situation, I would mix either using the speakers, but my room isn't as treated as it can be. Right now, I've just put on some acoustic panels just to make things a bit more not sound, a bit more.
A bit more control.
Yeah, a bit more control, yes. Yeah. So the reflections are not so pronounced in the recording. But the only issue is that some parts, because on my right side, there are windows. So I can't just plop a big acoustic panel there.
Yeah.
My parents would be like, hello, what is this? So, because I'm still using one of the spaces at home. But what else? So, acoustic panels, HS5s. And finally, I have a different array of mics that I would use. But my favorite in the arsenal is my AKG C214. So, great mic.
Yeah.
No complaints about that.
Yep.
And if I need to record anything on guitar, I usually just use that mic as well. Acoustic guitar.
Yeah,
and vocal.
Yeah, I mean the 214 is just the younger brother of the 414
Yes,
one. Yeah.
exactly.
You know, without all the fancy bells and whistles, the multi-pattern and everything. Yeah. Very, very cool. So what else? Are you looking to get upgrades, gear? But the big question is because Black Friday was just over. Did you
unfortunately
fall victim to anything?
No, I decided to just wait for a bit longer because it's the end of the year, and Apple is still messing around with that M1 chip.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, the M1 chip is kind of like a prototype in a sense, just testing the waters. But it's quite powerful already in its own regard. So if I just wait a bit longer, who knows? The M2 might come out. So I might upgrade my Mac to something stronger.
Yep.
But probably a Mac Mini lah. So
it's definitely from everyone, all the feedback that's been going around, definitely the M1 in terms of performance-wise, it is such a huge step up lah. So I'm a PC guy. I've always been a PC guy myself. But when word of the M1 came out, I was like, it's tempting, because I run Cubase, so I can still install Cubase on a Mac, and sort of enjoy it lah. But we'll see how.
It's that new architecture that allows the GPU and CPU to just combine whatever power and mobility they have in terms of bringing out the best in terms of getting the app running. But the only issue is the price to value ratio. Because I've also thought about it. If I get a PC with somewhat close to good enough specs, I can still save at least maybe 4K Malaysian ringgit.
And spending on other things.
Yes, exactly. A new guitar, a new hardware compressor probably, and a lot more maybe a set of Genelec speakers. I can dream, right? All that stuff.
Of course, yeah.
But that's pretty much it. Direct plans, probably I've been meaning to get this new mic this dynamic microphone from PreSonus. I think it's called the PD70.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of like an SM7B clone in a sense.
Yep.
But at a much lower price tag, and you don't need to use the cloud lifter to get that same level of clarity.
Right. You want to use that for what? What?
I was actually planning on doing probably my for video recording. Sometimes I'd like to do videos where I explain some stuff, like how I get my tone from the guitar, how I set up the recording,
right.
So that mic would be a great addition to my setup, because right now I don't have any. I have one dynamic mic and not very. It's great, but could be better lah.
Yeah.
So, that's it.
Oh, okay. I'll talk to you after off the air about the persona stuff lah. I'll talk to you later about that lah.
definitely.
Yeah. So, do you, besides your own album, right? Do you work on other stuff for other people?
Yes, but this is more on the freelancing side.
Yeah.
So apart from my album, there were some jobs that were required of me to get to play some guitar for some people lah. So I usually would just record what they requested, send them to them. If they were happy with it, everything's all good. Not happy, send it back, and then I'll do a better recording or just change up the arrangement. And until we get something that is satisfactory, then it's more of a back and forth lah. But usually everything has been going well so far.
Yeah.
The other part is that I'm working part-time at a small studio in Kuching. So usually for singers who want to have songs for events, because now the SOP in Sarawak is very weird. When you are performing on stage, you have to wear a mask. So it's a bit hard to get your vocals out clearly
Yeah.
with a mask on. So the next best thing was to just, okay, this is how we're going to do it. We are going to pre-record the entire performance. And we're just going to do a sort of like lip sync kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no choice lah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they would bring in all these singers and I would help record them, and I would try my best to mix their vocals as well into the backing tracks, and that's what I do lah.
That's interesting, man. I mean, they obviously, as DMC's approach is so different. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not for all events lah, but there were a few in particular that was like this.
Okay. What about like MCs? You know, if like event MCs also have to wear masks when they.
Yeah, apparently you still have to do that.
Then do the VIP come out and give speech?
I'm not too sure lah.
They want VIP can, right? They
VIP
can do anything.
can just open. VIP.
Somehow they're immune to.
I don't want to say anything for fear of being used.
Yeah, I can say it because I am a KL person.
Yes, please. Yeah. I don't know anything. I'm just here.
Yeah, you totally deny and do not.
Yes, but off the record.
Off the record, yeah. Very cool lah. Yeah. So, if let's say, touch wood, you know, that we don't ever get into some kind of a lockdown or isolation again, and then you're stuck somewhere. What are your 3 desert island records lah?
That is a very good question. Thank you for that, JD. It's a very good question, but it's also a very difficult one because there's just so many things to pick from.
Your own album doesn't count, huh?
No. I'm not that narcissistic lah. So okay, I'll try to break it down by eras lah. 3 desert, probably the 1980s, early 2000s, and recent albums probably. 1980s, I'd say I'd have to take the Toto album. Yeah, the I forgot what's the actual, maybe the greatest hits album. So Rosanna, Africa,
Oh man,
I forgot the Hold the Line. Yes, Hold the Line. That song.
I mean, then there's so many. Yeah, you know, a lot of engineers I also know use that as a reference.
Yes.
Yeah, there are reference tracks and reference CDs to listen to. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually used that actual album just for my as reference for my final project for the university.
Yeah.
So it was great. So right, that was the first one. The second one would be definitely it would have to be John Mayer's Continuum album. Definitely. I know I don't like to get associated with John Mayer so much because it gets a bit tiring lah. Every time ask me to play John Mayer song. But for this question, yes, John Mayer Continuum. Hands down.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
And finally, the most recent album, not most recent lah. This was an album done by Tom Misch, Yusuf Days, and I think Rocky Palladino as well.
Okay.
So it's called what kind of music? So,
what kind of music?
yeah, that's the actual album title. So, I just love it lah. I don't know how to explain it. He plays around with a lot of offbeat rhythms. So it can be quite frustrating if you are trying to play along with him, because Yusuf Days just makes I don't know. There's like 4/4, but this one sometimes is 4.64. That's why the time signatures are very, very interesting.
Okay.
But great album. If anybody is interested, check it out. So yeah,
Awesome, man. Yeah.
my 3 Desert Island records.
Yeah. So, I mean, so far, I mean, going through your whole path right now, if you could give, let's say, yourself, your younger self, any piece of advice, or even, somebody who is in your position, maybe they're studying, exactly in the same position that you were in, they're studying some other subject, another course, but, they also have that feeling, that gnawing feeling of I want to get into music, or not study music, they want to get into something else. What would you have told your younger self back then?
All right, if we're focusing just on my younger self,
Yeah.
then I would have just told my younger self, open your eyes and just do what you want to do. Don't be so caught up in trying to live other people's dream. Because the more you live other people's dream, the less time you have to live your own dream.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always had this notion that in order to be in the music industry, you have to have a certain level of knowledge. Your ears have to be like super good. You have to be able to sing like Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, and in order to play guitar well, you have to be as good as Eric Clapton and all that stuff. So these were all just shackles that I put upon myself. Because I realized if you keep on doing all these things, are you ever going to be truly satisfied? You only have one life. So to my younger self, don't be so worried about the outcome. The journey is the most important part.
Yeah, man.
And also
100%.
learn to take criticism and to also improve on it. And always be as humble as you can. Because okay, I admit when I was younger, I don't know, it's just probably this arrogance thing that all teenagers have. But I thought I had the world at my fingertips, so I can just do whatever I want. But if I just took a step back and actually paid attention, I could have learned a little bit more. Like to everyone else, to everyone that you've just met or that you still know, they will have one piece of information that you are not familiar with. So if you can humble yourself and just learn to always adapt the whole mindset of a student, you'll go very far.
Yeah.
So
Agreed, man. 100%.
that's my message lah.
Yeah, and I definitely 100% subscribe to that life philosophy as well. Always learning lah.
Yes.
Always learning, and you can always learn from someone. It doesn't necessarily mean someone who is older. It can be someone younger than you as well. It could be a kid who's just coming out of high school and college, and hey, they could have a lot of things that you could learn from them as well, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but the hard part is, of course, to have that perspective and to be humble, that to be willing to learn and to accept that. Hey, in the end, man, hey, when we are just small specks, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. In this whole wide universe, this whole world. Yeah, we're just doing our little part, our little thing, doing our little, working on our own art, creating our own art, expressing ourselves in our own way, lah. Yeah.
It's not so much of, I have to throw away the whole mindset of, I'm not trying to compete with other people to be like, oh, I must be better. I just need to run my own race.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
So yeah, let me get a bit more water here. Hope you don't mind.
Nah, it's all good. Yeah. What's your upcoming projects? Any plans? Any stuff that you're working on that is no one knows about, or that's in the works?
There are a few projects going on. but some I'm not allowed to speak about.
Okay.
But a few which are fine, I think. I think because it's all my own personal projects. There is there are some plans to release a new EP, acoustic music, just testing out the waters first lah. But at the moment, I think we only have the skeleton tracks, just my vocals and the guitars. I'm working with Hyrule again, so we're planning on bringing in a few more musicians to see what we can come up with. So yeah, everything is very, very organic, very, how to say, vibey.
Yep.
We just try our best to get. I mean that's how I work. We bounce off ideas and chemistry off each other, and sometimes that's when magic happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
Okay.
is the
Something.
that's the only thing I'm allowed to speak about.
Okay,
all
right.
the other stuff.
The rescue.
PNC.
Yeah. Or at the risk of bodily harm to yourself.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Yeah. So thanks for sharing that. Thanks for talking with me. Right. Thanks for doing the recording early as well.
Ah,
Right.
yes, yes,
The
yes.
the one mic session. I think by the time I put this out, it'll be roughly coming out at the same time lah. Yeah, roughly within the same week I'll put that out. So right, we definitely want to check out that recording as well. The video that gonna put out lah. How can people reach you? Where can we find you?
All right. This is the part where we do the shameless self promotion.
I know.
No, no.
Just plug it, man.
Right. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Spotify. You can just type out my name, Reening Lau, REENINGLAU, and just look for that Asian person with glasses holding the guitar. That's most probably me. And yeah.
This guy here. Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I also have a YouTube. So
YouTube. Subscribe to Reening's channel.
please do.
Yeah.
It helps the channel
Yep.
visibility.
Yeah.
Also, please do check out JD's channel.
Oh,
2105.
Yeah, this video is coming out on the YouTube channel first anyway.
Oh yeah, yes.
yeah.
But definitely please see all the other videos as well.
I'll put all your links down in the description of the video, so people who are watching
Yes,
this
thank you
or
very
listening
much.
to this can just check it out. And yeah, so we're heading off into this. Gonna check out some guitar stores and
I
just hang
think
around
so.
KL,
I'm just gonna enjoy my time here around KL and probably meet up with some friends if possible, but not gonna try and force it.
Yeah.
And yeah, jalan-jalan lah. That's basically-
Jalan-jalan cari makan, especially when you're going to Penang this weekend, man.
Yes.
Yeah, but be careful what you eat. Don't overdo it as well. Yeah, after gigging, very susah and all the full stuff.
Yeah, I have to actually pay attention to what I eat. I'm not as young as I used to be. When I was early 20s and stuff like that, I can eat anything the next day, run around a bit. Everything can be burnt off.
Oh,
now, eat a bit, it just stays there for a good long period.
Oh, okay, right. And then it stays at a certain part, the lower part of the half of the
it's-
body.
It's always the very prosperous part of the body
Ah.
lah. This part.
But a weekend in Penang, you gotta make an exception for that, man.
Definitely.
A few days of sinful gluttony lah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have to go there and try the Penang laksa and see whether it actually is better or not than Sarawak laksa.
Ooh, that's a challenge
That's a
out there,
challenge
man.
right there.
That is putting the gauntlet down there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be.
Penang fellas are listening to this are going to say, oh, okay.
So, there's something for you guys to look out for lah in the future.
Yeah.
Is Penang laksa actually better than Sarawak laksa?
Yeah.
And you can get all the Sarawak kids shouting in the back.
Find
yeah.
out. Find out more, man. Thanks for doing this, man.
No worries. No, thank
right.
you so much for having me.
All
I don't know what else to say. I'm just honored and happy that you would just want to make some time to even talk to me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, man. Yeah, it's my pleasure. I love talking to everyone, musicians, people who I know. Obviously, when we share a common interest in audio and in music production as well. And yeah, so that's kind of what the focus are. You know, whatever I do on this YouTube channel anyway is for people who just want to geek out on this topic and this subject lah. Right.
Yes.
All right, man. So let's wrap this baby up. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay. Bye-bye, guys.